Welcome back to Big Bark Sports. Drew Baressa.
Ronell Eubanks.
And we are at the tail end of March, but there is still a little bit of madness going on. Clearly, my friend here has just got madness upon him. He can't even focus right now.
Man, it's bad. It's bad. I love basketball, though, right? No matter if it's men's or women's, I love watching basketball.
So how many people go out there and make a bracket for the men's tournament and they all this stuff, there's all the pools and all this stuff, but no one talks about the women's tournament as much. But it is just as exciting, if not more so, if you really watch it.
Yeah, I mean, the competition between, all schools, on the women's side is competitive. I follow, Dawn Staley and Kara Lawson, the way that they motivate, not only the women, but the men, right? I mean, being able to share some of those videos with my son and as he goes through his process of basketball, it's nice. It's
really
nice.
Think about the greats too. You had Pat Summitt at Tennessee,
yep.
Gino Auriemma at UConn,
yep.
and they're just being phenomenal. And locally here in Wisconsin, we've got Kevin Borseth at UWGB. So I'm wearing my Phoenix Pride today, having worked for them a few years in the video. And joining us today, all the way from Scotland, is a former UWGB athlete, Laken James. Laken, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So you had experiences at UWGB with the NCAA tournament. And before we get into that, though, we're going to go back a little bit further where Laken got her start. So the big city of Oconto, Wisconsin.
Whew. Well, what do I say? Huge city. So that's where I grew up, is Oconto. There's like 4,000 people. I graduated with 65 kids. And going from there, I entered UW Green Bay, where I got a full scholarship, and I was able to play for Coach Kevin Borseth, which you had mentioned is a local great, but he'll go down in the Hall of Fame as one of the great, best coaches. And I was fortunate enough to play for him for 5 years. So it's a pretty cool experience.
And in that time that you were there, you guys won 4 Horizon League titles, I believe, and then both regular season and tournament play?
Correct. Yep. So we went 4 times.
So then you got the auto bid into the NCAAs, which is awesome. Now it is a little different than the men's though, right? Because there's not like a big regional pod, right? Like you go to the higher seed.
Correct. Yes. Yep.
Okay. And so a couple of times you guys were that higher seed. Did you host? I didn't even know. I'm just going over everything notes, but like you had Minnesota and Purdue, where you guys were the higher seed against them. Was that in Green Bay then?
No, so what they do is they have the regions. So it's the highest in the region. So there was still probably, I don't know what that would have been, like a 2 seed, whoever that 2 seed was, we would go to their home. So one year we were Notre Dame, the other year Oregon, Arizona. So we were always in that, that 8 to 11 range. And then we would just go to the highest in the region.
Okay.
Gotcha. So there still was kind of regionals, but it was one of the teams hosted. It wasn't like where it's predetermined a few years out.
Correct.
Okay.
So what was that experience kind of like when you win the tournament, you celebrate, and then you get to be like, all right, you get the selection Sunday. When that call comes out, what was the feeling that goes through when you see the name pop up?
I don't know. I think it's always super exciting. Green Bay, just historically, we're in a mid-major, right? So we're always kind of that underdog. So it's kind of like, okay, who do we got? It's never going to be someone where they don't expect to beat us. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just we're always the underdog. We believe we're going to win, but the other team is looking at it we have UW Green Bay. Where is that? I like to think that we had built a big enough reputation in the past how many years where we have that a little bit of respect in that mid-major poll. But I think it's just kind of exciting to see who we end up drawing and pulling. Okay.
So let's kind of speed forward a little bit. Now you're overseas playing ball. You're doing a great job in the community, with teaching and helping out and motivating, boys and girls, within your sport, and just motivating them to achieve their goals. So tell us a little bit about your basketball journey overseas.
So I started in Germany. So the last 2 years I've been in Germany. And that was really a unique experience. My first year I played in Division II Germany. So believe it or not, it was competitiveness, probably a step down from Green Bay. just because at Green Bay, we're all on the same page. We're all like strict schedules, workouts, it's our job essentially, right? Our school is paid for. But when I went over to Germany, there was probably only 3 or 4 pros on the team. The rest were students and some people had jobs. So it was a different atmosphere. So I wasn't really prepared for that, I don't think, right away.
Okay.
But the second year I played in Division I Germany. So that was a much more competitive experience for me, and I really enjoyed it. And then this year I am in Scotland. So I'm playing in the British League. And we're actually the only professional team based in Scotland. The majority of them are in England, and then one team in Wales. So it's kind of cool being the only professional team in Scotland. So it's been, just kind of fun, just being able to see the country and experience, the games and the lifestyle.
Yeah. So, I mean, you and I talked a little bit before this, but, explain people the adjustment that you go through from being, in Green Bay, Kanto area to going overseas. What's that lifestyle adjustment like?
Well, I guess I'll just say, like, in the sense of the Germany one to start, that's completely different. When you go from Okanto to Germany, it's like people don't speak English. I mean, they can. Mm-hmm. A lot of Germans, they're very well educated and they can speak English. But it's like almost when you go to a grocery store, you don't want to assume the person next to you speaks English, because I don't know why, but I feel like that's rude. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm in their country. I don't want to just throw my language at them. You know what I mean? Yep. So that was kind of difficult because I'm quite a social person. So I was just like really to myself in like public areas and like grocery stores, restaurants, etc. So that was really difficult to adjust to. And then of course you have just different things of culture, and they don't have one grocery store or gas station or anything open on Sundays. And like, it's like the first time I wanted to go grocery shopping, it was a Sunday, and I was like so dumbfounded. I was like, wait, why isn't anything open?
Well, not only that, but us being from Wisconsin, we get upset going to another state where they don't have like liquor at a gas station. and they're not even open there on Sundays.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to starve. I was like, no, but it was like, just like really small things like that too, where it's just, you're adjusting to the culture, you're adjusting to all the different things and way of life. But I love that. So it was a challenge, but a really cool experience for me as well.
Very nice. You do a lot of traveling, right? While you're there, or you go on these little mini adventures. I follow you on Twitter and Instagram, and I see some of your adventures. You want to tell us about those?
I am definitely a traveler. I love it. Like I said, I like the new experiences, so I often put myself in situations that I get to experience new things. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm at like 19 countries and counting. Oh, wow. Majority of them are in Europe. So when we have an off weekend, I travel. This year we had a long weekend, and I took my teammates that's also from America, mm-hmm. and we flew to Spain for the weekend. It was a $40 plane ticket round trip. Oh. And it was just, so cheap. And it's like all of a sudden you'd fly for 2 hours, and now you're in a country that speaks Spanish. Mm. Like you would just have all this different, again, culture. So yeah, I love it. So I always I do it on a budget. I like to get my deals, but
there you go. I wish we can get deals here.
Well, it's also different. See, this is, I know my wife really wants to go traveling to Europe, and I do as well, but it's mind boggling to me being from the States, being like, hey, we just drove 10 hours and we're in Kentucky. Now you guys are like 3 countries over. It's like completely different.
Right. All right.
Yes.
That's crazy. So, okay. So let's dive a little bit deeper now, right? You have your own company, right? 5-Star Academy. Yep. Tell us why you started it and a little bit of a story behind it.
Well, it goes back to probably the Green Bay times. So when I was at UW Green Bay, I didn't actually see success or experience success until later in my career. So I dealt with probably more challenges than a lot of other, college athletes in the mental side of the game. And it was something that I like truly struggled with. I wasn't really playing much, but yet, I'm passionate about basketball. So I'm training the same amount. I'm working just as hard, but like, I'm not getting that like reward of playing. So I just really struggled with that. So my sophomore year, I actually interned for a company, and they worked with they were creating an app for athletes to train the mental side of the game. So I was like, I don't think I'm really focusing on this at all. Like, all I do is go to the gym and shoot, or like do ball handling and like do all this stuff. And I was like, my biggest like barrier is myself, because I don't even believe in myself when I get into a game or a practice. So I was like, I kind of started to dive into that aspect of sports, whether it be books or articles or like the stuff I was helping the company with. And then I just kind of, to be honest, I fell in love with it, and I became like maybe like hypersensitive, like to the people around me, because like I could see, like, I know how I felt in those situations. I know how my teammate feels now, so it was like I became like a better teammate, a better leader, because I was putting more focus on these things. And then of course, full circle, it's like, if I need this, I know how much it helped me when I changed this. Why don't we have this for others? So I was like, your typical athlete that wants to, have an idea and just go with it. So that's kind of what I did. I was like, well, I'm going to create it myself then. I have a vision and I know the tools that I needed. So I'm just going to start piecing things together until it kind of falls into place.
That's awesome. Being a coach for many years, right? I've seen players struggle mentally, right? And it wasn't that they couldn't perform. It was that they either wanted to be perfect, or they're afraid of making a mistake, or they just didn't truly believe in themselves. And that's a great outlet and great thing that you're doing by trying to help, young people with the mental health side of it. Because we, with the whole pandemic and everything, we kind of missed that in our young athletes, students, young people in general, that mental health side is, people are affected by that even before the pandemic. It's just something that, I think is very inspiring that you're doing that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. So when your season's all wrapped up over in Scotland, you're coming back on home for that then?
Yeah. So I mentioned I'm going to probably be home middle of May. And so with 5-Star Academy as well, I like to focus again, like on the mental side. So we have a mentorship program where we have our mental training curriculum. But then the other part of it is I run basketball camps where we incorporate those skills as well. So my June is almost booked already. So it's been super exciting. The communities like around me, whether it be the Green Bay area, the Oconto area, they're really passionate about like what I'm doing, and it makes it so easy for me to like continue working with these schools because they believe in it and they're willing to, give that resource to their kids. And I don't know. So it's been super cool. I can't thank the community enough for like believing in what I'm doing, and I love what I'm doing. So it's just kind of like a win-win, I think.
So with the few openings you do have, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Really any social media platform. So my personal one on Instagram and Twitter is Laken James 5. Or you could email me at lakenjames5@gmail.com. You
do have a website as well, correct?
I do. So that is 5starcad.com. So ACAD for a CAD.
Nice. Well, I think we're going to wrap up, but we're hoping that we can get you in the gym with Drew when you get back, so you can teach him some moves to help him out with his Friday morning basketball.
Yeah, the old man league I play in, we really need to step up our game. And yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is everyone else keeps getting younger. They bring in younger guys who are just better, which isn't difficult, and then I'm still there being like, oh, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna give her the old try today,
So why don't we plan in the future to have you we do another podcast in the gym, right? And we can really kind of get down to the nuts and bolts of 5-Star Academy and actually you again teach Drew some basketball moves. Get him lacing up the big bark shoes here and see if he can hang.
Yeah, big yes for both. Put me down for both.
Sounds good.
Laken, thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck the rest of your season. We can't wait for you to be back in the States.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
All right, so we got a couple weeks left in March Madness, right? So weekend 1 in the books. My brackets, just done.
Mine's in the trash, literally.
I Kentucky in the Final Four.
Yep.
It's a great start to my weekend. I think it was already on Saturday. I knew I was done. But at least I got, I do one for fun and one for slight bit more of fun, legally. The one that one's done. But I got Gonzaga in one and Arizona in the other. So I think I'd still technically speaking have a chance as long as every other team loses, I guess.
Okay. See, I only do one, and then that one is for fun. And once that was busted the first day, I just tossed in the garbage. I wasn't even close. I mean, I had so many teams that I picked that just lost. It's crazy that.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier today too about like it sometimes it gets kind of stressful when you're doing that. So when you're not worried about the brackets, enjoy the games.
Right.
So that's what I'm about. Those people that play for money, whoever they are, let them go and do that and stress over it. I just want to enjoy the game for the purity of the sport.
Sure.
All right, so
end of tournament prize is sometimes fun as well.
I'll have to take your word for it. I wouldn't know. But when we get to the end of the year, so when Final Four comes up, we need to discuss our Final Four picks, how it's going to go then, and of course what foods you're going to have, because that's important. And the other important piece is we'll have to fire up the old Nintendo again.
I will win this time, just so you know.
He's a double dribble guy. The only that I can think of, the only video game ever to be named about a violation in the sport.
Yeah, basically.
You never played that football game, holding?
No.
It seems like a great time.
I got called for holding.
You never played offsides in hockey? It's a great one. All right, so thank you for joining us today at Big Bark Sports. Drew Baressa.
Ronell Hubanks.
We'll catch you next time.
All right.